So our MVP actually took us 2 weeks to build. It took us 2 weeks to build, and we built on just like the regular WordPress. We didn't want to invest so much money in building out this, oh my God, this expensive product and nobody was going to use it, right? So we said, okay, let's validate this product. And what we did was we created like a small WordPress website. We used obviously third-party plugins just to make the process seamless for whoever will be using the website and make things faster. That's how we ran Human Squad for about a year. My name is Temilola Adebayo, and I'm the co-founder and CEO at Human Squad.
This is Code Story, a podcast bringing you interviews with tech visionaries who share in the critical moments of what it takes to change an industry and build and lead a team that has your back. I'm your host, Noah Laphart, and today how Temilola Adebayo is building the immigration platform to connect you with the right tools and the right people. All this and more on Code Story. Temilola Adebayo is in tech, but her background is in film production. She grew up most of her life in Nigeria, but then moved to Canada. She's been producing films for 10 years and still does. She takes large influence from her family, who happen to all be entrepreneurs. Beyond professional things, she has a 2-year-old son who keeps her on her toes, and she enjoys watching films and traveling with her spouse. Temilola and her co-founders set out to create tools to not only make the immigration process easier, but to provide immigrants with the tools and people to support them throughout the process. This is the creation story of Human Squad.
Human Squad is an immigration technology product. The definition we have for Human Squad really, it's an immigration technology company, and we're on a mission to demystify the immigration system by empowering immigrants with the resources, the products, and the personalized support that they would need to help them immigrate conveniently and affordably. The truth is, we like to say we're the Uber for immigration. We connect people who are looking to move to another country. We connect them to licensed and regulated consultants. We do that because one of the things that we try to do is to reduce fraud. There's a lot of immigration fraud out there right now. And what we try to do is to reduce that by finding regulated consultants and pairing them up with people who are looking to move. So that was actually our flagship product. That's how we started Human Squad in June of 2020. But then, as we've run the company, we've seen that there are other pain points that our clients face. For example, people like, oh yeah, I want to move to Canada. I want to move to the US. I want to study in the US or in Canada. But then I don't even know how to go about getting admission into a college or a university in those countries. I'm like, okay, that wasn't the original focus of our product, but this is one of the pain points that our clients also have. Through that, we've also started to build another product, which is a sub-product of Human Squad, of course, that actually caters to people who are looking to study abroad in Canada, in the US, in Germany, and in Australia, and in the UK as well. We're launching sometime in the fall. But what that just means is that we, at Human Squad, our value proposition or our vision, our mission is to create products along the immigration value chain. So at every point in our customer's journey, in their immigration journey, Human Squad has a product that caters to that. So there's the immigration product, which was our flagship product. Now we've started this study admission product. And there's other products that we also have developing in the pipeline.
Tell me about the MVP, right? The flagship product. How long did it take you to build? And what sort of tools were you using to bring it to life?
So our MVP actually took us 2 weeks to build. It took us 2 weeks to build, and we built on just like the regular WordPress because what we wanted to do was to determine product market fit. We didn't want to invest so much money in building out this, oh my God, this expensive product and nobody was going to use it, right? So we said, okay, let's validate this product. And what we did was we created like a small WordPress website. We used obviously third-party plugins just to make the process seamless for whoever will be using the website and make things faster. And that's how we ran Human Squad for about a year since we launched. We're just continuing to validate the problem and to validate product market fit as well. because, like I said, we didn't want to spend so much money building out this thing. We just wanted to understand people using the WordPress products, people to coming back to us and saying, hey, I enjoyed using your product, but then I would have loved this. So we started to document those processes and what people would actually need. And that actually is informing what we're using to build out our current prototype that we're currently building right now. So like I said, for 1 year, we actually ran Humans Code on WordPress with some third-party plugins integrated.
I think that's a great MVP. So sticking on the MVP a little bit longer then, with creating, a first version of your product, you have to make certain decisions and trade-offs, right? About, what technology you're going to choose, right? It sounds like you got WordPress and you got some plugins. Tell me about some of the trade-offs you had to make when creating that and how you coped with those decisions.
With the MVP came quite some manual processes. Because if we had started out building out like a fully automated product, things would be faster in terms of like speed, right? But with the MVP, because it was WordPress, like what would happen is someone would book a service on the website, and it's actually one of our employees. At the time, it was me who was doing this because I was doing operations, and it was me who on the back end would actually process these orders. So it would be, receiving this order, checking with our immigration consultant to see if they're available to take that meeting, sending an email to the client to say, hey, these are the availability options. Please select an availability that you prefer. You choose your preferable time slot, and going back to the consultant to say, hey, this is what the client prefers. There was a lot of manual work, but still, what that helped with was it helped us understand the product very well, what we're trying to build, and it also has informed the automation of the product, because definitely we know that kind of manual process is something that we are definitely cutting out in this new automated platform that we're building. But like I said, I'm not sad about doing that, because like I said, it just helped us understand the product a bit more, and it helped us know our customers a bit more, right? So I'd say that's probably the only trade-off. Everything else was, to be honest, inconsequential. That was the major thing, the having to do things manually and spending a lot of time processing orders. But like I said, it's helped us in our automation process right now.
This episode is sponsored by Vanta. You're a startup founder. Finding product market fit is probably your number one priority. But to land bigger customers, you also need security compliance. And obtaining your SOC 2 or ISO 27001 certification can open those big doors. But they take time and energy, pulling you away from building and shipping. And that's where Vanta comes in. Vanta is the all-in-one compliance solution helping startups like yours get audit ready and build a strong security foundation quickly and painlessly. How, you ask? Vanta automates the manual security tasks that slow you down, helping you streamline your audit. And the platform connects you with trusted vCISOs to build your program, auditors to get you through audits quickly, and a marketplace for essentials like pen testing. Join over 8,000 companies, including many Y Combinator and Techstars startups who trust Vanta. Simplify compliance and get $1,000 off at vanta.com/codestory. That's VANTA.com/codestory. I like that unconstrained model where you're doing lots of things manually because you're figuring out what is going to work and what is not before you engineer it. So that makes a ton of sense to me. So then from that point, how did you progress the product? And you mentioned, building some other products. You mentioned taking the product probably in different directions there. But how did you progress it? And I think to put that in a box, what I'm looking for is how you built your roadmap and how you decided, okay, this is the next most important thing to build.
Like I said, we had launched in June 2020. And so for 2 years, it's about 2 years now since we launched. And we've enjoyed amazing traction since we launched, because obviously immigration is global, everybody wants to move somewhere. So, right. And so it helped us gain a lot of traction in terms of users, and also in revenue and organic revenue too, organic traction. And then also how that has, informed our roadmap is we started out with our flagship product, which was the immigration product. And it was people coming to us, like whoever it is, like a client we're dealing with coming to us and say, hey, oh, thank you for this service, but actually, can you also help me with this other service? So for example, like I said, we started our immigration product, which was basically just connecting people who are looking to immigrate to licensed and regulated consultants. Then in that process, the client will be like, oh, hey, can you also help me get admission into a school? Then that also informed, because we're getting a lot of those requests, that was like the next logical thing to build. Also, people will be like, hey, okay, I'm moving to Canada next month, and I want to start like reaching out to employers. This is my resume. Can you please take a look at it and see if it actually fits into the Canadian standard? And we started to get a lot of those requests as well. And it's like, okay, that's like a personal branding product right there. So we also have a product that caters to like resumes and cover letters and like mock interviews, skill audits. You know, I'd say, like, to put it in the box, really, I'd say really our customer's journey actually informs our roadmap, because if it's a customer's pain point, and we have a lot of customers that are having those pain points, then it just tells us that we have to build a product that, you know, actually caters to that. Because at Human Squad, we're first about the customer. How do we make things immigration easy for the customer? And if a lot of people are coming to us and saying these are the problems we're facing, then we talk internally and we're like, oh, should we build a product? Obviously, there'll be a lot. We just don't decide to be a product. That we'll do all our permutations and see if it actually makes sense to build that product now. It's just the customer's journey and pain points that informs our roadmap and what we build along the immigration value chain.
How did you go about building your team? And you know, I'm interested in how you did that, but also what you looked for in those people to indicate that they were the winning horses to join you.
Human Squad started with myself and my co-founder and the CEO, Tunde Omotoye. So Tunde is, I would say, first of all, you know, immigrated to Canada as an international student in 2015. I'm talking about my co-founder now. Immigrated to Canada in 2015 as an international student, and he faced a lot of like hurdles and challenges trying to just navigate the immigration system. And this actually informed him sharing his experiences online. He started sharing his experiences online on social media, and as of today, he has about 250,000 followers. You know, people reach out to him for immigration tips, immigration advice, career advice. And it was, and so back in 2019, I believe, a lot of people used to reach out to him to be like, hey, I want to move to Canada, help me. And he's like, no, I'm not a licensed immigration consultant. Then we talked, we were like, you know what, actually, maybe there's a product there. Even though we're not licensed immigration consultants, why can't we create a product that actually connects people who are looking to move to licensed consultants, right? So that way people don't keep bugging you all the time, but you're sure that people are getting the necessary service that they need. And that's actually what informed the creation of Human Squad. And also, we were the first 2 team members of the team. And down the line, about 6 months later, we brought on our 3rd member who was in charge of business operations. And to us, what was very important in whoever would bring on board was, first of all, they had to be very passionate about helping people. It might sound very, cliche or sound very basic, but that's just the core of what Human Squad is. You have to be passionate about helping people. And that was actually the top thing that we looked at in whoever it is that we're looking to bring on board. Then down the line, we also brought on our CTO, our current CTO, who has experience in building products that, helps to simplify everyday problems. So again, it's just that thing where our team consists of people who are actually building something in whatever sphere of their life, building something that actually connects to people and actually helps people get through everyday challenges and problems. And that's why our name is Human Squad. There's a human in the Human Squad, and it just makes sense that, we are all about humans and people first. So whoever it is that we bring on board to work with us, whatever it is that we're building, the human beings and people are at the center of at the focus of whatever it is that we decide to do as a company.
So, okay, let's flip to scalability then. So, and I kind of know the answer to this a bit with the MVP, but I'm just going to ask it and see where you take it. Did you build this to scale efficiently from day one, or have you been fighting this as you grow and gain traction?
Actually, no. Like Human Squad was very, like I'd say from the first day. First of all, like everything is not about revenue or money. I'm not one who focuses on revenue. Like, I mean, it's important to focus on revenue, but still, like, I'm just trying to say, since we launched Human Squad, the first day, Human Squad was profitable, and so we're able to prove product market fit, like on the first day that we launched. In fact, in the first week that we launched, we had over 3,000 inquiries. We had to bring on like an ad hoc staff just to help us clear out our inbox. So we're able to do that told us that this is a needed service, right? Immigration, like I said, it's a global thing. Everybody needs to move somewhere, right? And so we knew from the beginning when we launched Human Squad that this was a scalable product. But what we decided to do, because again, we didn't want to get too big too quick, and we actually wanted to learn the ropes and actually really learn this product. What we decided to do was to focus on Canada. First of all, because we live in Canada. Second, Canada is a very immigration friendly country. Canada has over 80 pathways. Canada has over 80 pathways to immigrate into the country. So it made sense for us to build our blueprint here, prototype, if you would call it. The first product, our flagship product, it made sense for us to start with Canada because that way we're able to test out everything before we're able to scale to other countries. Human Squad is able to scale to any country as long as the country is immigration friendly. And also the Human Squad model is repeatable in any country. It's basically, once we've figured out the blueprint and the plan for Canada, what we do is just repeat it in other immigration friendly countries, which we have actually started to do. So we built this, when we started to build this, we built it knowing that this was going to be very scalable, and we knew we're not going to struggle with scaling this product. It was just making sure that we did things the right way.
You know, it's interesting, that scaling question can go so many different directions, right? It can go technology, it can go people, it can go process, and all of those are vastly important for scalability. Well, as you step out on the balcony and you look across all that you've built, what are you most proud of?
It's not like those things are not important, like saying things like, the traction that we've been able to enjoy since we launched Human Squad, or like the reputable organizations that have, validated and endorsed us, which gives us some sort of validation. For me, I mean, my CEO, Tunde, might actually have a different thing to say, but for me, really, it's the reviews that we get from people who have used our product. People who say things like, oh, I struggled with, trying to understand the different immigration pathways. It was just too complex, and talking to a consultant at Human Squad just made everything seem so easy for me. And now I've landed in Canada, and, I just want to say thank you. We get those kind of messages every time. And that's really what the joy is for me as, a person, I think that's really what I'm most proud of. The fact that we're able to actually help people, which is what we've set out to do and set out to say we wanted to do. And the fact that is actually happening.
Well, let's flip the script a little bit. Tell me about a mistake you made and how you and your team responded to it.
One mistake I know that we made is, it wasn't really a mistake. It's just, when you're building a product, sometimes you get too excited and you feel like you want to, automate too quickly. So what had happened was, like I said, we had our MVP, which was built on WordPress. And then we were like, oh, now we want to automate now and move to this cloud infrastructure. And we built out this portal, which I think we built too quickly. And we didn't actually, we weren't ready for the things that would happen after we launched that portal. So we launched that portal, and in less than a week, we already had like 4,000 signups to the portal. And so we're dealing with things like, bugs. We're dealing with bugs. People would message us, be like, hey, your portal is so buggy, like you guys should fix it. We're dealing with things like sometimes, it was just ridiculous. I'm not a very techie person, so I'm sure like the CTO will be able to speak more to that fact. And it was just apparent to us that, we had to swallow our pride and decommission that portal. So we did do that. We decommissioned the portal and we went back to WordPress and went back to the drawing board to just like, okay, hey, these were the problems we faced when we launched. How are we going to make sure that we don't have the same problem happen again when we again launch our cloud automated portal? In the 3 weeks or a month that portal was existing, it was a nightmare because we used to get like a lot of messages from customers, complaints. It was just very hard, and it was a very lean team, and it was just a very stressful time. And we learned our lessons from that. So I'd say that's one of the mistakes I'd say we made early on in our journey.
You come out of those situations stronger and you learn a lot from them, but like you said, it can be a nightmare though. So what does the future look like for Human Squad, the products or products and your team?
Like the future for Human Squad really is continue to build out more products along the immigration value chain. The possibilities are endless. And like I said, we're just tackling Canada right now. We intend in the next 3 to 5 years, we intend to have scaled into 5 different other countries. So that's a long journey and a lot of work ahead of us, but it's exciting. So yes, it's to actually, we have 3 flagship products right now to really double down and make sure that those products are actually, doing very well across the different countries. And for the team really is, I don't know, like, to be honest, growth. I mean, it might be a very cliche answer, but like growth, to continue to grow. I want our team members to really be happy working at Human Squad, know that they're actually doing something impactful to the community, and also in their personal lives. Work-life balance is very important to us at Human Squad, and so growth, work-life balance, and that's it. Like I say, happiness. Like, people should be happy working at the company. So in June 2022, well, June 1, we would have been running Human Squad for 2 years. So that's going to be our 2-year anniversary. And so we've been bootstrapping the Human Squad for 2 years, pretty much. And it's exciting. We have an exciting announcement to make on that day, which is, you're hearing it here first. We've closed our pre-seed round, recently closed our pre-seed round from Calm Company Fund, which Calm Company Fund, by the way, shout out to them. They're amazing. Tyler at Calm Company is really like the ideal founders investor, is really very invested in growth, and he took a chance on us, and I'm so excited to be working with him and his team at Calm Fund. They're very amazing.
So Temilola, let's switch to you. Who influences the way that you work? Name a person you look up to and why.
I could mention like different like world leaders, but to be honest, the person who influences me the most is my mother. Like I said, I grew up in a very entrepreneurial family. I was raised by a single mom who did everything that she needed to do to raise my sister and I, send us to the best schools. She's very entrepreneurial. And so I guess even unconsciously, I was actually, getting those traits from her, because now in my entrepreneurial journey, it comes very easy to me. And it's not lost on me that I must have picked that up somewhere, and when I think on it, like when I do some reflection, I picked that up from my mother, and she picked that up from my grandmother, because I spent a lot of time with my grandmother too, and I saw how entrepreneurial she was. So the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So yeah, that's the person who influences me the most. Obviously, there's some other people, CEOs, CTOs, but like really, when I'm being very honest with myself, that's the person who influences me the most.
Well, we talked about a mistake earlier, but a little bit different spin. If you could go back to the beginning, what would you do different, or where would you consider taking a different approach?
I'm one of the people that believe that everything is as it should be. You can really beat yourself up when things happen, but something in you just tells you this is how it was ordained to happen. There's a lesson to learn. Even in saying the mistake that we made earlier as a company, there was something to learn out of that. So honestly, I would say nothing. It's the journey, and we're just taking the time to enjoy the journey.
Well, last question, Temilola. You're getting on a plane. and you're sitting next to a young entrepreneur who's built the next big thing. They're jazzed about it. They can't wait to show it off to the world. Can't wait to show it off to you right there on the plane. What advice do you give that person, having gone down this road a bit?
I would give this person the advice I got. Always remember your why. Because remembering your why, that will continuously lead you to your purpose. It will help you, it will steer you, it will steer you and your business and everyone working with you in the right direction. And honestly, it would also make you remember, why, it would make the challenges worthwhile. If you remember your purpose and remember why you're doing this, it will make the challenges worthwhile. And I think that was very important for me to know in the beginning of my journey, because now when I see challenges come up, I always remember my why, and so that's the advice I would give to any young entrepreneur who's at the start of their journey.
Fantastic advice. Well, Temilola, thank you for being on the show today. Thank you for telling the creation story of Human Squad.
Thank you for having me, Noah.
And this concludes another chapter of Code Story. Code Story is hosted and produced by Noah Laphart. Be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the podcasting app of your choice. Support the show on patreon.com/codestory for just $5 to $10 a month. And when you get a chance, leave us a review. Both things help us out tremendously. And thanks again for listening.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.